Quentin loves the Olympics. I won't watch it because it goes against what I stand for, but Quentin loves the Olympics, so you know.
Wait, what? What does it stand for?
Well, they did at the opening ceremony. They disrespected what I believe in, and then on top of that, they got overly masculine people fighting in boxing. So I just don't stand for it.
So
I'm
what
not
do
going
you
to give my
want
advertising dollars and my eyeballs over to something that I don't believe in and that I don't support. So I'm not rocking with it.
So all the categories you're not supporting.
I don't support the Olympics at all because it's a financial gain for the people that then feel comfortable disrespecting a thing that I stand for. So why would I give a fuck about them and they don't give a fuck about me?
I mean, supporting the USA. I mean, you go to the Pistons games, and
because you're proud to be an American. Where at least you know I'm free.
That was Paris opening. You shouldn't like judge.
I have not watched 1 minute of the Olympics at all.
Yes, Q, get him, Q, get him.
No, I'm just saying, but that was Paris that did that whole.
It wasn't. It was the Olympics itself. It's a committee that runs it, and they are largely a profitable entity that then capitalizes off of your advertising dollars, and they feel comfortable and they approve that opening ceremony. And I don't think that we stand for anything, and that's why they feel comfortable continuing to do it. So I'm not going to support it. For me, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to put my eyeballs on something that I don't rock with. So.
Well, you missed the two most amazing basketball games that will ever be played on network television.
Oh yeah, those were some good games. Those were good games.
Games. So games is supposed to come in place of my standards and what it is that I believe in.
Yes.
Games is supposed to take the forefront over what it is that I believe from a Christian perspective.
Supporting your country is supposed to take precedent.
My country don't come before my beliefs and my Christianity.
God is a God of all forgiveness, and he would have looked right past it.
No, he doesn't. In order to get forgiveness, you got to actually in order to be forgiven, you got to actually be sorry. I don't forgive nobody.
The creator of that event apologized, actually. So
no, they didn't. But
yes, he did.
The best form of apology is change behavior. He approved it, so he knew what he was doing. So I don't believe any fake apology. People apologize because they're losing out on money, not just because they're actually sorry for what they did.
This is about to be a long night. I could already tell.
It makes sense. It makes sense, yeah.
And the closing ceremonies had no LGBTQ.
I think that the reason why the United States of America is in the position that it's in is because we don't actually have a backbone and we don't stand for anything. That's why y'all daughters and y'all sons bathrooms is going to be infiltrated because y'all don't actually have any backbone and y'all let anybody tell y'all whatever it is that they want to tell y'all and they still capitalize off of y'all.
What position is the United States?
That's why the black community is weak. America is now a reflection of the black community, and that's the reason why we so easily disrespected and why people still continue to roll with the thing despite the fact that they don't do something negative. We weak. We don't stand for anything anymore. We don't have any kind of honor. We don't have no standards. Anybody can come in and disrespect you, and that's just the end of the conversation. And they still gonna capitalize off of you.
I think that was the reason that.
Y'all go ahead.
No, I was just saying. I think that's the reason that Andrew Tate fella said that he left Christianity and went to Islam or something, because he said the Christian world allows everything that they, you know what I'm saying? And he felt like it was weak. So he wanted to go to Islam.
Listen, that's a weak mindset in itself. If that's what he said, then that's a weak mindset in itself, because Christianity has nothing to do with the people. The word of God is the word of God, regardless of whoever it is that said that they're a Christian. So I don't care what you do. I'm still going to abide by the word. See, I don't consider myself even a Christian. That's for y'all standards. I say that because I know that people can identify more with it. I'm a saint. A saint is different than a Christian. It's way different. And so if you stand for it, you stand for it. It shouldn't be defined by who else is joining you. I'll go alone if I have to. I don't care nothing about what other people is doing. I'm not going to switch my religion because everybody else is not agreeing with what it is that I do. I stand on what I stand on.
Not agreeing. I think he was saying folks are saying that they're Christian yet not acting like it at all. So
we ain't even got to dive too deep into it.
Andrew Tate is not the right example to throw in there with his track record.
It just sounded like what Anton was saying. I was like, I see.
Let's start with the first segment. But I do want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you follow all these content creators. Please be nice in the chat, people. You know, you're not going to listen. But let's start off with the first interview. I don't know if you guys saw what Rickey Smiley said about Kamala. Here's a little clip.
I'm just sick of the black people on the internet talking about I'm not with her. Okay, so if you're not with her, that means you with Trump. And y'all need to block every last one of their asses on Facebook and on Instagram and social media and stop. Like, that's just garbage. Black folks get on my damn nerves, man. Why everybody making all these celebrities making all these videos going off on Kamala Harris and stuff, and then the black men, Kamala Harris didn't prosecute you and treated you bad in court. I got treated bad in court too. If you sit at home and you don't support her, you are definitely supporting Donald Trump. You can vote for who you want to, but don't be trying to encourage other people and sit up there and put bad stuff. Where's that same energy for Donald Trump? Believe in everything you read and do real research. You can see what a record is. You can see what she have done. I think you can Google what have Kamala Harris done for the black community, or things that black people benefit from a lot. Yes. We need to stand with her. She's great. She will make a great president. And what a blessing to be living in a time where a black woman can become president of the United States of America. And
okay. So as you heard, Rickey Smiley says black people need to be on code with Kamala. Do you guys agree?
So I'll say this. I mean, I'm not even the biggest politic guy, but I don't have to be to like know that this guy didn't say anything. Like he's saying, you know, don't vote for so-and-so or Google results, but he couldn't spitball or shoot from the hip any details to support why we should vote for Kamala. You know what I'm saying? Like he's saying, just, you know, Google it. I mean, can you say any pieces of detail? How well do you believe in her, you know, in terms of backing her up factually? So I just hear emotion. I don't think he really knows why he's voting for her, really. He's smacking everyone else to say, Google it. Yeah, you can't shoot from the hip and say any piece of detail to at least entice the percentage of people that won't Google to then Google for more of the benefits she's done. So I don't know what he's saying.
Well, I agree with him totally myself. I mean, currently in this state that we're in, it's either vote for Kamala, the gorilla, the monkey, or Donald Trump. And when it comes to Donald Trump, one of the main things that bother me about Trump is he wants to remove regulations. And if we know who Donald Trump is, that's strictly for gain and profit. However, I want my water to be regulated. I want the air to be regulated. I don't know about you guys, but I want all of that. You know, I personally don't agree with abortion, but I don't believe it should be banned for women that need it. You know, there's many things I'm against that Donald Trump stands for. We all know that now they're talking about the tips for waiters. He brought it up first. However, we also know that same week he brought tips up, the Supreme Court also ruled that they could receive tips after they decide on cases. Then he brings up the idea that tips should be free. Why was that? So his Supreme Court judges could get kickbacks after the fact. So everything he does is purely for his own gain. And for that reason, I just can't rock with Donald Trump, period. So
number one,
Kamala Harris.
Number one, you're wrong on regulation. Because, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish. Did I not?
I'm not wrong.
Did I not let you finish? You emotional already? Is that what we doing?
If you want to call it that.
Because I let you finish.
Well, I mean, you actually cut him off. You didn't let him finish. So go ahead.
I got quiet, and now you want to chastise me for overspeaking.
I didn't even say anything yet.
But you keep saying
because you got to let me finish my sentence.
Watch this. I'm gonna be quiet and respond, but don't talk about me not letting you finish.
What are you talking about?
I'm waiting for your response. I'm just letting you finish.
Okay, so first of all, you're wrong when it comes to regulation, because regulation is not broad in scope. Regulation that he's talking about is specifically with regard to energy. Has nothing to do with water, has nothing to do with air, is specifically with regard to energy. Now, what I didn't hear you say is any reason why you're actually voting for Kamala, which is similar to what I see every other liberal say every single day. They say, I'm voting for her because I don't like him. Not one thing that you said actually validated from a policy perspective as to why you actually support her. So what you should have said was, I just hate him. I don't like him. This is why I'm not rocking with Trump. But don't tell me that you're voting for the person because you don't like somebody else. Help me to understand why you actually like her and what's great about her policy, because I could debate all day about what his record is. But what I can't take, which is really difficult for me, especially when I'm talking to men, is when they get emotional about somebody and they can't actually substantiate their argument about why it is that they support the other person. And so I'm gonna let you respond.
Okay. I can say why I don't like him and why I don't have to like her so much. I do not like him. So what you just said, you're absolutely right. I dislike him so much that I just said I would vote for the monkey. It doesn't matter to me. Now, when you said what his energy policy stood for, you really trust him, because I don't. Because he says it, I don't believe it so. When they release that, when they open that up, they can do whatever they want. And we don't know what they're going to do. And I just happen to believe that they're going to take it too far.
Well, it doesn't matter what you believe, because we actually have a sample size from 2016 through 2020 of exactly how it is that he managed the United States of America, especially with regard to energy and policy. The thing that he stands on and he speaks on specifically, so I can sit here and do an assumption. I could say, well, I think that this is what they're going to do. But what he's actually speaking on from a policy perspective, and you still can't even justify why it is that she's the best candidate. What he spoke on from a policy perspective is that people should have a choice as to whether or not they're being pushed into this EV regulations that ultimately most people don't want. And so if you want EVs, which is literally less than 5% of all sales when it comes to vehicles in the United States of America, you should have the choice, because we don't even have the infrastructure yet to support a push into EVs, which was largely pushed through with the Biden administration as far as this infrastructure deal, along with a bunch of other stuff, similarly to how it is that they pushed immigration reform along with the Ukraine war, Taiwan, the CHIPS Act, Israel, and so on and so forth. And so what Trump is basically emphasizing, and you can go to his website and you can literally look at the energy policy. And one of the beautiful things about being in the United States of America is that we don't have to depend on they. We have legislative branches like Congress, the Senate, House of Representatives that ultimately have to approve, and you can't just push anything through. The only time that the president have absolute power is when we declare an emergency, similarly to when we had the pandemic, similarly to when we had war with the Bush administration and so that's when he was able to take control and say, well, we're going to advocate and spend more money when it comes to war and all of these things that we have going on across our borders. We do know for sure is that, again, we can lean on exactly what the sample size was in 2016 through 2020. And if we actually compare it to 2021 through 2024 today, 3.5 years later, the American people rejected this policy with regard to the infrastructure deal that Biden pushed through along with the CHIPS Act. And then we also know that we still don't have the infrastructure with regard to regulation for EV vehicles. And that's one of the reasons why he tapped on Elon Musk in order to tap into the Tesla network in order to have all of these other vehicles be a part of it, even though that wasn't what it is that they set out to do in the first place. So again, you missing me with all of this hyperbole and you missing me with all of these assumptions, because I don't go based off assumptions. I go based off of policy. I go based off of fact. And I don't lean into my emotions when it comes to doing the best thing for my family and ultimately what's best for the people here in Michigan and Detroit, Michigan. What I do know is that we were thriving. What I do know is I can depend on the North American Free Trade Agreement, which we see layoffs is happening across the board. What I do know is that Biden largely abandoned Obama's policies as far as making sure that immigration didn't come into this country. And then I also know that he leaned away from what it was that Trump had already said as far as what he was saying, but he was lying to y'all because he still adopted the tariffs. He adopted the tariffs. He kept the same tariffs in place in order to ensure that Trump really put those tariffs in place. All of the things that we're benefiting from today, from a regulation perspective, from an infrastructure perspective, those are things that Trump Bennett put into place. And so when you lean into this and you talked about tax and tips, the one policy that she had was adopted from Trump that he's been on a campaign trail for months talking about. She don't have no original idea of her own, but all you telling me is, well, I would adopt a monkey. Tell me why Trump actually is the one that helped fund HBCUs when they were going broke during his administration. Yes, he did. HBCUs were going broke. They were almost bankrupt, and he absolutely made sure that they had the funding. Tell me about the opportunity zones that he had inside when he worked with Tim Scott in order to ensure that all these urban communities in these environments. What?
Hey, let him get it off his chest, man. Let him get it off his chest. This gonna be fun. Let him get it off his chest. Go ahead, man. Finish your statement, Anton.
I'll wait because I don't want to monopolize.
All right. So we talk about the tariffs, and I'm glad that you brought up that Trump, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because inflation is due to Trump. It's due to those tariffs that we're still running on. Let's talk about the tariffs. Hold on, wait. Let's talk about the tariffs that Trump also wants to implement. $500 billion per year, which is going to cost the average American $1,700 a year. The average American can't afford $1,700 a year. They can't.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not. Hey, it's on his page. It's on his page.
Do you want me to respond or you want me to
go ahead? You can't tell. Hey, go ahead. Please go ahead.
So the beautiful thing about tariffs is that it was instituted as a trade war because all companies that were doing business in China were required to not only submit their proprietary technology over to the companies that they did business with, because Tesla was the only company that was able to keep their own proprietary technology and not have to partner with a company. But also on top of that, they were also making them partner to where they had to become 50-50 partners. What Trump said was, it's imbalance. The same way that we imbalance when it comes to contributing 85% over to NATO, the same way that it's imbalance when it comes to this trade war. And so what he did was, we knew that Chinese companies were dumping steel, foreign steel over here in these countries, that they were absolutely flooding the market so that they can put American companies out of business. So he saved the steel industry. He renegotiated the North American Free Trade Agreement to ensure that these companies didn't have to go through Mexico in order to be able to get their products here. And he made sure that American jobs were saved. That's what really happened. So when you say that there's a $1,700 tax, listen, we're not worried about that as much as we are worried about the fact that we are losing American jobs at a higher rate that was largely instituted by